U.S. military will this week join its Nigerian counterpart in search of the missing Chibok girls that were kidnapped over 3 weeks ago. Now, what should be the rules of engagement for this operation? We are now being joined by Lionel Rawlins, coordinator of UN Security here in Nigeria. Good morning, Lionel.
I should say Ibolachi.
This is a different approach to the interview this morning.
The usual one that we keep having, you know, we've had Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba.
International.
Yeah, sure you are international. You're everywhere in the world. Nice to have you here.
Very good morning to you.
You like my shirt?
Sure I do.
Chibok Hotel.
He's one of us now, you know. You're supposed to be given assignments now on security issues to go get stories for us.
That's right. You should. I should be doing that.
Okay. Back to business now. Let's talk about what we should expect of the mission that is about to take place, you know, in Nigeria as regards getting these girls back to their parents. And now we have foreign intervention. So what should be, you know, the rules of engagement in working hand in hand with the Nigerian military to see to the success of this operation?
Well, it's mostly advice and training, because we don't, no government is going to send the troops to put on the ground, as I said, boots on the ground. No government is going to send troops to essentially go help fight the insurgents. And for one, they don't want to get involved in the nation, whatever country it is, the people wouldn't want them to get involved in a foreign war. And two, your military is quite capable of doing the job. If given the proper direction and the proper training and the proper advice, or the proper leadership from maybe the government, the military cannot do anything on its own. Right. They have to get the orders from the government and the federal government. For example, when the girls got abducted, the military can't just on its own go and start searching for the girls. They got to get that order from the government. So if the government wasted time and spent some delay moments or days or weeks, it's not the military's fault, but everybody's blaming the military. It is higher up than that.
They've not gotten others.
That's right, it's high up. So when now that the international help is here, it will do more of a facilitatory role in advice and training and teaching and telling. Maybe they will also give them the use of drones and surveillance and detection. There could be a drone flying over northern Nigeria right now. You will never know. And you must remember that if a drone flies over, it can pick, if it flies over this table, it can read everything that's on this table. That's how sophisticated the camera system is. And those are the kind of things that will be offered to the Nigerian military. But definitely, I doubt it very much if you will see a company of Marines or soldiers or sailors coming in to fight. That is probably not going to happen.
Yeah, but we see senators in the U.S. saying that they're not just going to just assist the country logistically. They're going to also, there's going to be need to deploy ground soldiers in helping out. Just as you're saying that you're not possibly going to see that. But we see some senators advocating for that there should be ground soldier to help out with what exactly is going on in Yobe and Borno and Adamawa State. Now, if there is need for ground soldiers, now how do you think it's going to be synchronized in terms of bringing synergized? Let's put it that way now. How do you think it's going to be synergized in terms of bringing the Nigerian Army and also the U.S. Marine together?
It's a good question. Now, when I said there'll be no boots on the ground, no soldiers on the ground, or Marines, you're not going to see a battalion. You're not going to see 500 men or 2,000 men or anything like that. You may see 100 men in uniform with weapons, and they will be going out with the Nigerian military and showing them how to do it and say, this is how you do it. Now, they have to be armed in case they get attacked. They can't just sit there and say, okay, you shoot over there. They have to fire back. But you in fact need them to have weapons, and they will be there in the hole, in the fire, in the water, with the military, the Nigerian military, showing them this is how you do it, this is where you go, this is how you look for things. They'll be working with perhaps the drone or any kind of surveillance activities, and showing them how to use GPS and how to use it to coordinate where they're looking for, and to find these girls if they are in fact anywhere to be found, which I doubt that they are anywhere to be found.
But you know, you said they're going to be telling them, okay, shoot this way, or this is what you expected to do, or this is what you should do. But you know, some Nigerians are already, you know, have that fear that this Marines might take up the military's job.
Well, it's a concern, of course, because usually anytime a military comes into a country, they tend to get a little aggressive. And part of the aggressiveness would be to overtake your military. And because they will say, look, you either do it my way or, I'm leaving.
But if such a problem should occur, do we see them working together just to achieve whatever their aim is?
Yes, we are much too sophisticated now. We've gone beyond those days where we would just beat up each other and get angry and leave. We are too sophisticated now for that to affect the working relationship. First of all, Nigeria received funding from the US government to help them fight terrorism and violence. I don't know if people know that, but we do give millions of dollars to the government of Nigeria. Whether the money goes to where it is intended purpose or somewhere else, I don't know. But we do give money to Nigeria to help them fight terrorism, violence, crime, corruption, that sort of stuff, piracy. And so we care about what happened here, whether it's because we want to establish a presence in Africa, or because it's the right thing to do. We do give. So we will not allow that to destroy the relationship. And yes, we can work together. The military here can fight. They can fight. They just need to brush up a little bit of the act here and there, because we all need it. I mean, we go to the United States, go to England to train. England goes to Israel to train. Israel goes to the United States to train. We have to do that, because you don't know all of the tactics and strategies, and you don't have all the answers. So the people have to go around, and that is why people are so surprised that the Nigerian government didn't ask for help much sooner. When, as the day after those girls disappeared, help should have been pouring in from all over the world.
Now, you said the Nigerian government did not act a little bit sooner. Now, we have a caption on Vanguard newspaper this morning that reads, Boko Haram, U.S. ignored Nigeria's 2013 request report. Now, this is 2013. If that is the case, then what are we talking about? Is it that the request was there, or no one really acted, or it was not properly channeled in terms of really requesting or asking for assistance?
That is a very good question again, because when politicians speak, you don't know who is telling the truth and who is telling the lie. But somewhere there behind it is some truth, and somewhere there is some lies. But what I do know is that the government already offered to come in and help here in Nigeria, and it fell on deaf ears. It was whoever received the offer of help probably didn't take it up to the big people at the top, or the big people at the top ignored it. But there was offer to help, especially after the girls were abducted. There was definitely offer from all over the world. The British government wanted to send their Royal Marines in to help. It was, and whether it's because the Nigerians are a proud people and don't want to accept it, or for some reason if they felt it would make them look weak or weakened, that you had to ask for help, and they did not accept it. In the end, they accepted the help, but look at where we are, a whole month later. And,
that's pretty late, right?
It is too late. And if I will, again, I've said this before, those girls are not in that forest. And if they were in that forest, somebody would have seen them or heard them. You cannot hold that many people in any one location for that long. And I would almost bet you those girls have been sent out to different families to be held until whatever decisions the insurgents decide to make or take at the time, which could be from really truly selling them or killing them. But I would say that those girls are not all together in any one place.
Okay.
Now, I don't know for a fact, but just my experience and gut feeling, there's no way you can keep all of those people in any one location for that long without somebody knowing or hearing something.
That's true. And now that we have help coming from all angles, all over the world, France are also willing to help. We have the U.S. coming to help and all that. Well, we now have Israel too, rendering a helping hand. Don't you think there will be a clash of interest?
Well, no. You remember when there was the fight in Afghanistan and the fight in Iraq, there was like 15 different countries that went in, and they all fell under one command, and they all had their own assignments. Some were doing logistics, some were doing evacuations, some were doing like hospital, medical, some were artilleries, some were actually infantry, some were doing helicopters, and some were in different parts. So we have learned to coordinate, the friendly forces, that is, have learned to coordinate tactics and strategies that will enable them to deploy into any situation and handle it. It's not like it's something new now. But what would happen is you must ask yourself, why do all these countries really truly want to come to Nigeria? Is it because of the girls, or they have some other interests? Like, I'm just going to choose one country. I'll just say China. What does China want with Nigeria? Is it because they care about the Nigerian girls, or they care about their interests that they've already invested in the country? Or they're looking for a gateway in where they can come in and invest more into the country? So the United States and Nigeria has had a working relationship for years. Now, the United States too has its own interest. They all do. Yes. We have to just find out what truly do they really want from Nigeria.
That is a very good point.
About really getting to that point when he talked about China and the United States of America. Yes, I know, yes, China has a huge investment in Africa, and most especially having something to do with Nigeria. Now, we know they also are in this quest to say that these girls return back home, and they said they're going to assist Nigeria in terms of intelligence gathering and reporting. Now, and these are interest-based thing that everybody is pursuing. Whatever interest they have, it's just left for their interest. But I want to take us back to when you said these girls possibly are not within one particular location. Now, if these girls possibly are not within a particular location, just how difficult would this make the search, or would this add to the search of these girls? How difficult would it be?
Well, even if they were all together in the forest, it would be difficult, because the forest is huge and large and wide. It would be difficult to get in. Now, it would not be difficult aerially, because, like I said, helicopters, we have planes that can fly over and spy and look down and see anything and everything they want. And so it doesn't matter how much trees you're under, we have the technology and the sophistication to see anything that takes place. What would be a difficult task would be if the place is booby-trapped and they have bombs around, so that if you try to come in, the people get killed and so forth. But we have trained experts who know how to circumvent that, who know how to go around that. Nonetheless, it would be difficult. What would be even more difficult, though, is if the girls were moved and some in Chad, some in Cameroon, some in Niger, some in Adamawa, some in Yobe, some here in Yolo, and Libya. And if they were just dispersed all over the Sahel, then we don't know where they are. I'm sure those people probably wouldn't even know where they are, logistically speaking. And but that would be the most difficult part of it, trying to find them if they were dispersed amongst different homes.
All right.
Okay.
I know it's going to be a huge challenge. Yeah.
Sure, it will be a huge challenge, but I know they're capable. But let's take a quick break now. When we return, we'll continue with this discussion. Don't go away.
Welcome back, and this is Safiya Breakfast show, and we're looking at rules of engagement for the U.S. military that will be joining the Nigerian counterparts in search of the missing schoolgirls. Our guest is Lionel Rawlins, Coordinator AUN Security. Now let's look more into what we are describing now, rules of engagement. It is not easy to define the rules of engagement. That is a known fact, most especially when you are bringing not just one or two military forces together. You're bringing, say, 3, 4, 5 and above. Now, the ground rule in Nigeria is quite different. The terrain is different. The people, their psychology, their orientation is different. Now, you have people who are dominated by fear, don't know how to give information without comfortably. They don't just, they're not good in giving out information. Now, how can that be handled when a foreign troop steps on ground?
Well, the foreign troops are not going to go out and start speaking with the people up in Borno in the forest. First of all, if the people up there see a white man coming, a Bature, they'll probably start running and they probably wouldn't understand anything he's saying. He probably wouldn't understand anything they're saying. He would have to go and get the intelligence people who work for the military, train them and tell them how to deal, how to talk with the people on the ground, the locals. There is a certain way you deal with people to get information. You can't just go up and say, hey, my name is, and I work for, and we're looking for the insurgents, we're looking for the girls, can you help us? It doesn't work that way. You have to establish a relationship. You've got to show them some warmth, some pleasantries. You have to develop some trust and reassure them that your relationship with me is everlasting and is not just for today or tomorrow, but is forever, and that kind of thing. So and that's how you get to establish, and you have to do it really quick and really fast, so that the person really think that you are genuine and you mean what you say. But something that other people don't think of, though, it is not just the military that comes in. If done properly, the military advisors and trainers will come in. But you also have to bring in economists and those sort of people. You know, what do we do now with the people what happens to the girls after they have been found? Let's say they all were found. What do we do with them? We have to bring in psychologists, trained psychologists and counselors to talk to them and deal with them. We have to bring in people from the medical community to deal with them in case some of them were sexually violated, or they had some kind of sexually transmitted disease, or they were pregnant, or you see how wide the scope is. It is not just people just thinking it is the military. We have to bring in economists, people who's going to go into the community and teach the community how to develop itself and to become more sustainable. And you have to bring in people who's going to develop schools and tell them, we want you to go back to school. We don't want you to stay out of school. I know you're fearful, but come, we'll give you a proper school, we'll build you a nice building and get you in there.
Security.
So it's not just military.
Yes.
It's a whole scope of things that comes in. When you ask for help, everything comes in.
So it's a full package.
It's a full package. Now, the government could say, look, I don't want all of that. I just need the military advice. They can say, I don't care about the counseling. I don't care about your psychologist. They can go back. You just send me your military advisors. They can do that. But I would say that the most important thing after the military is psychological counseling, because wherever those girls are, they are going to be traumatized for the rest of their life if not treated immediately. They're going to be crazy. Some of them, not all, but you know, because all of us are prone to be crazy anyways.
Yes.
We get traumatized, and we do funny things as a result of PTSD, the post-traumatic stress disorder.
Okay, now that we have the military on ground, and then we'll have possibly very soon we'll start seeing them, you know, going in for action. What should be, or what should the community, you know, people do in acceptance of these forces that are coming to help them?
They should support them. You have to. You should support your local military people too. I mean, they're out there putting their lives in danger, and I know a lot of times people say, we have these army and they can't find these people and they can't. But remember, they're doing the very best that they can with what they have, and unless somebody gives them the go ahead, they can't do anything. And yeah, there's some things that we do that are questionable, but for the most part, they're doing their very best. So we have to support them. On the other hand, I believe, and I might be wrong, I hope I'm wrong, I would imagine that the insurgents are going to show people that you bring these people in, I'll show you. They can't touch me.
You're looking at a possible resistance from the
They will have a
soldiers.
resistance, and they will counter-resist the aggression from the armed forces coming in, and they will become even more violent and more aggressive and then perhaps even the scope is going to be widened. I will almost bet you that they want to say, I'm going to show you that you guys can't touch me. And pretty soon you'll see things blowing up and people are dying, and that's what's going to happen. You know, it's always darkest just before the dawn.
Yes. So people should just be ready for this.
I'll say be ready for it. If it doesn't happen, then we are very lucky.
Right.
But I think that we should be braced for it and should be prepared for it to happen, because it's not going to be easy. And they're not going to just put their arms down and say, okay, the Americans are here, let's flee. It's not going to happen. They're going to fight back and show the people that we're just as bad as you, and we are worse than these Americans, we're worse than these Matures, we're worse than the foreigners who are coming in, and we're going to show you. And they'll kill and kill and kill and kill until. And then, if the pressure gets too much on them, they'll just flee into other countries and fall right back into the community. Or maybe even some will come here and just they'll be working, selling suya on the street. You wouldn't even know.
No, that's true.
Because that's how they operate.
Okay, Lionel, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your advice as well.
Well, as I said before, I'm only here because of you. The moment you stop coming, I stop coming.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.